Today, it's time to get schooled. And speaking of today, did you know that on this day, February 19th, 1942, President Franklin Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066. This order authorized the evacuation of all persons deemed a threat to national security from the West Coast to relocation centers further inland. In real terms, this meant that 120,000 Japanese Americans, mostly U.S. citizens, were incarcerated into internment camps. Roosevelt's excuse was the successful prosecution of the war and the possible protection against espionage. Congress quickly and without meaningful debate authorized the funds to enact the executive order. The relocation camps were fenced with barbed wire and guarded by armed soldiers. It is estimated that close to $6 billion of Japanese wealth was wiped out by the internment. In 1976, President Ford apologized. He said, "We now know what we should have known then. The evacuation was wrong." Redress payments were issued during the presidency of George H.W. Bush. What seems to be the powerful lesson of this little tale is that government policy is often blinded by inaccurate and false information. We need to look no further than the tragic order of interning the Japanese during World War II. In Korematsu v. United States in 1944, a 6-3 Supreme Court decision held that the exclusion order applying to Americans of Japanese descent was lawful. The majority opinion written by Justice Hugo Black argued the case had nothing to do with racial prejudice. Rather, Executive Order 9066 was rooted solely in a strategic imperative. Another justice affirmed that dangers of espionage and sabotage were very real. Never mind the millions of Germans living in the U.S. during the war, the Japanese had suffered for decades from prejudice. The Munson Report, commissioned by the president, found Japanese citizens to be quite loyal. Other experts saw no immediate threat. Apparently, the rights we feel so strongly about can be easily disregarded when it's opportune and expedient. Be forewarned. Psst, it's PROLOG with Mr. Review. It's a podcast that is actively digging tons of earth to find an ounce of gold, striving for a more perfect union.